A man walks out on his family, drains his daughter's $180,000 college fund, and vanishes with a woman half his age. Sounds like a midlife crisis, right? But what if I told you the one who brought him to his knees wasn't a lawyer or the police, but his 15-year-old daughter? While her mom cried on the kitchen floor, this quiet 8th grader turned her heartbreak into a blueprint for digital revenge. What she uncovered would destroy not just her father's plan, but the lives he tried to build in secret. Why did she do it? And how far is too far? Stick around. This story will shake you. And if it does, hit like, share it, and subscribe. You won't believe what happens next. Rick was stuffing shirts into a duffel bag, like he was late for a flight no one told me about. I walked into our bedroom barefoot, coffee still warm in my hand. "What are you doing?" I asked, voice catching before I could study it. He didn't answer, didn't look up, just kept shoving his jeans, socks, button-downs into that bag like I wasn't standing there, like I was already gone. "Rick?" I stepped closer. "Where are you going?" He paused, zipper halfway. "I'm doing what I should have done years ago." His words hit like ice water. We'd been married 21 years. I met him when I was 23 and thought the world was safest in his arms. Now, he couldn't even look me in the eye. I reached for his sleeve. "Stop. Please. Talk to me." He yanked away. "I can't do this anymore, Liv." "What does that mean?" He finally looked up, and what I saw scared me more than shouting ever could. His face was blank. No regret. No guilt. Just cold. "I'm leaving." "Olivia. Is there someone else?" The question came out before I could stop it. A flicker. That's all. Just a twitch in his jaw before he said, "This isn't about anyone. It's about me finally breathing." But I knew. The nights he came home late. The way his phone was always face down. The new shirts that didn't smell like home. I'd ignored it. Pushed it down. But now, everything screamed. "Where are you going?" "I'll figure it out." He zipped the bag. "But I need you to transfer my half of the savings to my account." I blinked. "What?" "My half. You know, the joint." Something in me split. "Rick, the savings includes Lily's college fund." His silence told me everything. I ran. Down the hallway, past the family photos, into the kitchen where Lily sat eating cereal, her ponytail still damp from the shower. She looked up as I grabbed the laptop. "Mom?" I couldn't answer. The screen loaded. I opened our bank account. Checking, $263.71. Savings, $0. College fund, $0. I refreshed. Again. Gone. Lily set down her spoon. "What's wrong?" I stared at the screen. He took it. All of it. I couldn't feel my legs. My hands trembled on the keyboard as I kept refreshing the page, like the numbers might magically reappear. But they didn't. Our checking account was nearly empty. Our savings? Wiped. And the college fund we'd been building since Lily took her first steps, gone without a trace. "Mom?" Lily asked again. Her voice was soft but steady. I turned my head. She was sitting at the kitchen island, her cereal soggy in the bowl. Hair pulled back in that neat little ponytail she always wore. Still wearing her middle school hoodie. I closed the laptop and stood, trying to breathe. I couldn't. I pressed my hands to the counter, felt the cool granite under my palms. It didn't help. Then, behind me, I heard the slow creak of stairs. Rick appeared at the bottom step, duffel bag over his shoulder, phone in hand. He didn't look at us. Not me. Not Lily. "I left you a voicemail," he muttered. "I don't want a voicemail," I snapped. My voice cracked. "I want you to look at your daughter and explain why you're abandoning her." Rick glanced over his shoulder. His eyes met Lily's. Just for a moment. Maybe 3 seconds. "You'll understand when you're older," he said to her. Lily didn't move. Didn't cry. The door closed behind him with a soft click. But it echoed like a gunshot. Lily and I stood in that kitchen, surrounded by the silence of a life undone. The fridge hummed. She nodded once, like that confirmed something she'd already filed away. "Did he take our money?" The question hit harder than any scream. Some of it, I said. I could barely force the words out. She set the bowl back in the cabinet, turned around, and looked me square in the eye. Mom, she said calmly, don't worry. I handled it. I blinked. What? I handled it, she repeated.
What did she mean by that?
She was 15. What could she possibly have handled? But something in her voice told me she wasn't bluffing. That night, I couldn't sleep. I got up to check the front door again. Still locked. As I passed Lily's room on the way back to mine, I heard it.
Click, click, pause.
Click, click, click. At first, I thought it was her texting. But the rhythm was too fast. Too focused. Not the lazy tap-tap of someone scrolling TikTok at midnight. This was typing.
Fast.
Purposeful. I stopped outside her door. The soft light bled under the crack at the bottom. Lily, I whispered. No answer. I stood there for another second, then stepped away. She was probably chatting with friends. Maybe venting. I knocked. Come in, she said, cheerful as ever. She was at her desk, her laptop angled just out of sight. Her bed was neatly made, a notebook open beside her mouse. Her hair was still pulled into that tidy ponytail, even at this hour. I brought in a tray, grilled cheese, tomato soup. Her favorite. Thought you might be hungry. Thanks, Mom, she said, closing her laptop just a little too quickly. I placed the tray on her nightstand and glanced at her desk. School planner. History textbook. A few index cards. It all looked normal. But it didn't feel normal. Everything was too neat. Too staged. What are you working on? I asked casually. History report, she said. The Industrial Revolution. I nodded. Need help? I'm good. Thanks, though. There it was again, polite, firm dismissal. I kissed her forehead and stepped back into the hallway. She waited until the door clicked shut, then I heard it again.
Click.
Click, click.
Pause. Click.
That was the moment I knew my daughter wasn't doing a history report. She was doing something else. Something she didn't want me to see. But she wasn't hiding like a kid sneaking screen time. She was operating like someone with a plan. And I had no idea what that plan was. It was Friday afternoon when I saw it. I was in Lily's room putting away her laundry. She likes her shirts folded a certain way, so I always try to do it right. The house was quiet, except for the low hum of the dishwasher downstairs and the occasional creak of the air vent. Her desk was clean just like always. Too clean. I turned to leave. But something caught my eye, just the tiniest corner of paper sticking out from under her science textbook. A normal parent would have left it alone. But I wasn't a normal parent anymore. I reached for it, sliding the page out gently. Just one sheet, crisp printed. The formatting looked too polished, too specific. At the top, names, Rick Dawson and Tracy Lambert. My fingers went cold. There were dates, emails to be exact. A thread. It started 3 weeks ago, before Rick left. The subject lines were vague. Update on Vegas, moving forward, handling O. I scanned the content. My stomach dropped. They were talking about me. Tracy, she's soft. She won't fight back. Rick, I'll have the money transferred by Friday. Just keep things quiet. Tracy, we need to lock in the mortgage before the bank flags anything. I sat down on Lily's bed without realizing. I read the messages again, slower this time. My husband, no. Ex-husband, had been planning this for weeks. With her. This wasn't just an affair. This was a full-blown exit strategy. I felt nauseous. Not just because of what I read, but because I hadn't read it first. I wasn't the one who found this. Lily was. I looked around her room. The books, the clean desk, the laptop that was always just out of reach. My daughter had access to his email. She had been in his inbox. She had printed his messages.
How?
Mom, I jumped. Lily was standing in the doorway, holding her empty soup bowl from last night.
Come.
Observing. Where did this come from? I asked, holding up the paper. She didn't flinch.
She didn't panic.
Dad's not very good with passwords, she said, closing the door behind her.
Ist sicher her.
How long have you known? She looked down, thoughtful. About Tracy? 6 weeks. About the money? Right before he left. My breath caught. Lily, why didn't you tell me? She walked over and sat beside me.
Her voice was low, steady.
I wanted to be sure. And I wanted to figure out what to do about it. She said it like she was talking about a science fair project. I kept seeing her face, so calm, so unbothered, like she'd already made peace with everything. But I hadn't. I needed advice. I needed someone to tell me how to parent a 15-year-old who was secretly infiltrating her father's inbox like a trained analyst. So I did the only thing that made sense. I called my sister.
Leave.
You sound like you've seen a ghost, Maggie said as soon as she answered. I might have, I whispered. Her name's Lily. I told her everything, well, the parts one could say out loud. About Rick leaving. About the money. About the emails Lily found. About how she'd said, I handled it. There was a long pause on the line. She's 15, Liv. How the hell does a middle schooler handle something like this? I don't know, I said. But she has. Upstairs, I heard the clicking again. That same steady rhythm. Faster now, more aggressive. Maggie didn't respond right away. Then she said, You should check her computer. I tried. She minimizes everything when I walk in. She's careful. Careful. Maggie repeated.
Leave.
We're talking about your kid, not Edward Snowden. I hung up soon after and sat there on the couch, thinking. The TV played some muted documentary I wasn't watching. Thanks, Mom. You're the best. I glanced around. Her planner was open, a few history notes scrawled across it. Textbooks stacked just so. Normal. Too normal. What are you working on? Industrial Revolution paper, she said and smiled. But before she minimized the screen, I saw it, just a flash. Not a Word doc. An email client. Multiple tabs. A spreadsheet. Names I didn't recognize. And at the top, folder names I'd never forget. Account transfers. Rebecca_mortgage. SEC_submission. I didn't say a word. I just left the tray on her nightstand, kissed her on the head, and stepped out. But inside I was shaking. Because whatever Lily was working on, she'd already started. The call came on a Tuesday. 2:14 p.m. I was standing at the kitchen sink, rinsing out the coffee pot, when Rick's name lit up the screen. I froze, dish soap still clinging to my hands. For a split second, I thought maybe he was calling to apologize. To explain.
To be human again.
I answered. Sarah. His voice was different.
Tight. Frayed. We need to talk.
Something's happening. Something's really wrong. I said nothing. My bank froze all my accounts this morning. Every single one. They said there were suspicious login attempts. Flagged transfers, they're launching a federal review.
He was spiraling.
I could hear it in the way his breath kept hitching between sentences. Then Rebecca called. She got fired yesterday. Security walked her out. Her boss said someone sent in files, documents, I don't even know what. All her clients are pulling out. It's chaos. I glanced toward the living room. Lily was at the table, supposedly doing homework. Her laptop open, her posture perfect. But I could tell she was listening. Not with her ears, but with her entire body. She didn't look up.
Didn't need to.
I don't understand what that has to do with me, I said. Rick let out a half laugh, half snarl. Don't play dumb, Sarah. This isn't random. Someone's targeting us.
Me.
Rebecca. Someone with real skills. Behind me, I heard Lily's chair shift. She stood, walked into the kitchen, and poured herself a glass of water.
Still didn't speak.
I think it might be someone from her office. Or someone she rejected. Or, I don't know. He trailed off, then snapped back. Wait, what was that? What? That beep.
Just now.
Did you hear it? Like an alert. I looked at Lily. She was back at her laptop now, typing.
Calm.
Precise. A soft chime echoed from her speakers. Nothing loud. Just a note. Rick, I said slowly. You might want to call your bank. No, wait. Someone's in my email. I'm watching it. Messages are opening and closing. I'm not touching anything. What the hell is this? His voice broke. Now my social media is going crazy. They're posting files, financial statements, private messages, screenshots of me and Rebecca talking about you, about the money, about Vegas. Who the hell is doing this? I didn't answer. I swear if you hired someone like some private investigator or hacker, you need to stop them. This is illegal. You understand? Lily looked up at me then, her eyes steady. She gave the faintest shake of her head. I turned back to the phone. I didn't hire anyone, Rick. Then I hung up, and the quiet that followed felt louder than any scream. The phone rang again before I could even set it down. I didn't move. I just stared at the screen.
Rick.
Again. Lily looked at me from across the table, one hand resting lightly on her keyboard. Let me take it, she said softly. I hesitated. Please, she said, already reaching. I handed her the phone. She held it to her ear, calm as ever. There was a pause. Then his voice burst through, so loud I could hear every word from where I sat. Lily's sweetheart. Thank God, listen to me. Something terrible is happening. Someone's hacking into everything, my email, my bank, my Facebook. They're pretending to be me. They're sending messages, files completely out of context. You have to believe me, it's not what it looks like. Lily didn't say anything. She just let him go on. I would never steal from you. From your mom. I didn't mean to take the college fund, not really. It was supposed to be temporary. An investment, okay? Rebecca had this opportunity, and I thought I could double the money. Give you back even more. You forged a loan application using my social security number, Lily said quietly. Silence. I watched her, frozen. Her voice didn't shake. Her hands didn't tremble. She was so still, so sure. I saw the documents. You used my name, my birthday. You and Rebecca applied for a mortgage on a house in Nevada. You were going to leave us with the debt. Rick finally spoke, but his voice had changed.
Smaller. Who told you that?
No one, she said. I found it. Another silence. Then you're 15. You couldn't possibly. I accessed your secondary phone, she continued. The one you hid in your closet. I cloned your messages. I tracked the wire transfers. I've been monitoring everything for weeks. Rick was breathing hard now. This is insane. This isn't normal, Lily. You shouldn't even know how to do that. I shouldn't have to, she said. But you made sure I did. Please, please just stop. I have nothing left. I'm sleeping in my truck. Rebecca won't return my calls. I can't get a job. No one will touch me with this fraud flag. Lily's eyes locked on mine. Her voice softened, not out of pity, but precision. You taught me that actions have consequences, Dad. That's what you said the day you walked out with your suitcase. So now you get to live with yours. And then she hung up. I expected the phone to ring again. It didn't. Days passed. Rick disappeared from our lives the same way he'd left, without warning, without a trace, without apology. No more calls. No more desperate voicemails. Just silence. But the fallout wasn't silent. News started trickling in, first through online forums, then on local radio, then the headlines. Financial advisor under investigation for multi-client embezzlement. Mortgage fraud tied to anonymous whistleblower. Las Vegas real estate deal collapses amid identity theft scandal. Tracy Lambert's photo popped up beside the articles. She looked shocked. Stiff in the courtroom sketch, her mouth a thin line. Her lawyer claimed she was set up. Her employer disagreed. Is this your doing? I asked Lily one evening, standing in her doorway. She was on her bed, cross-legged, typing. The glow from her laptop cast soft shadows across her face. I didn't lie about anything, she said. I just shared what was already true. I walked in, sat down at the edge of her bed. Her life is ruined. She ruined it. There was no anger in her voice, just facts. I found her company's internal audit trail. She'd been shifting funds from retirement accounts into dummy investments since 2021. Most of it came from elderly clients. Time-stamped. Cross-referenced. I looked up at my daughter. She didn't look vengeful. She looked resolved. She deserved to lose everything, Lily said quietly. I set the folder down. I said, "You don't cry. You don't even flinch." She looked at me for a long time. "I don't have time to cry," she said. "We still have to fix the credit reports, file the fraud affidavits, and start the financial aid appeals for school." I blinked. "School. I'm still going to college, Mom," she said, matter of fact. "He doesn't get to take that away from me." She turned back to her screen, and in that moment, I realized something terrifying and beautiful. She wasn't just surviving. She was rebuilding. From the wreckage he left behind. It started with an email from an address I didn't recognize, subject line. Invitation. Youth Cyber Ethics Panel, Denver Institute of Digital Trust. I almost deleted it, assuming it was spam. But the name beneath the sender caught my eye. E. Dawson. Lily's name. But she never used her last name anymore. Not since the day Rick walked out. I called her into the kitchen, holding my phone. "Lily, what is this?" She glanced at the screen, then reached for her glass of water, like it was the most casual thing in the world.
Oh.
"That's the conference I'm speaking at next month." I blinked. "You're what?" "They asked me to be on a panel about youth-led cybersecurity initiatives. I'll be presenting virtually, through an encrypted Zoom room." I stared at her, mouth slightly open. How did they even find you?" She shrugged. "Reddit, probably. Or the blog." I'd forgotten about the blog. Weeks earlier, she'd shown me a simple website she'd built from scratch. It had 3 tabs: digital self-defense for teens, recognizing financial red flags, and whistleblower toolkit. At the time, I thought it was a school project. But apparently, so did thousands of strangers who stumbled across it. She walked over to the laptop on the counter and opened it. "They're covering travel costs if I ever want to attend in person. And they offered a full scholarship to any tech program I applied to." My knees went weak, so I sat.
"Lily," I said.
"That's incredible." She looked at me for a long moment. "It's not enough." "What do you mean?" She pulled a business card from her hoodie pocket and handed it to me. E. Dawson, Family Financial Protection Consultant.
Clean font.
A small shield icon in the corner. A professional email. A QR code that led to a form requesting services. "I've been consulting with 6 families already," she said. "They pay $75 an hour. I help them secure their accounts, flag suspicious activity, build fraud response plans." I was speechless. She opened a spreadsheet, color-coded income tracking, client notes, pending invoices. The totals at the bottom made me dizzy. "I've almost replaced the college fund," she said quietly. "It's not about the money anymore. It's about proving he didn't get the final say." She turned the screen toward me. I already gave that power back to myself. In that moment, I didn't see a child anymore. I saw a young woman who had turned betrayal into blueprint. But there was something different in her eyes now, something steadier. She no longer looked like a girl pretending to be okay. She looked like someone who had already survived the worst. We were sorting through a stack of mail when she spoke. "Mom, do you think Dad ever regrets what he did?" The question hit like a stone in still water. It had been weeks since she'd said his name. I looked up from the folder in my lap. "I don't know, honey." "Why do you ask?" She kept her eyes on the form in front of her. "He posts things sometimes. On those fake accounts he uses. About starting over. About letting go of the past. But he never mentions us. Not once." I didn't know what to say. She deserved an answer, but I didn't have one. "What do you think?" I asked. Lily set her pen down and leaned back. "I think regret is feeling sorry that you lost. Not sorry that you did something wrong. And I don't think he ever understood the difference." She folded the page and placed it neatly into the done pile. Later that night, I walked past her bedroom and paused. Her door was slightly ajar, and I could hear her voice, gentle, focused. "I know it's scary," she was saying, "but your mom's choices aren't your fault. We can start by freezing the account and flagging any recent withdrawals. I'll walk you through the affidavit process. You're going to be okay. I peeked in. She was on a video call with another teenager. A boy, maybe 14, eyes red from crying. Lily guided him through his screen share like she was a therapist, a tech support agent, and a big sister all rolled into one. And remember, she said, just because they're your parent doesn't mean they're allowed to hurt you. I stepped away before she saw me. My eyes blurred with tears. Not from sadness.
From awe.
The next morning, she came downstairs in her hoodie and jeans, slinging her backpack over one shoulder. Ready for school? I asked. She smiled. Always. At the door, she paused. Oh, and Mom, she said, turning back. I love you. I smiled. I love you too, sweetheart. If you've ever been betrayed by someone you trusted, you're not alone. If this story meant something to you, leave a comment. Share it.
Subscribe.
Because every family deserves protection. And sometimes that protection comes from the most unexpected place.